Episode number 378.
Self-development is interesting because it never ends. It's not like you get to some goal and you're done. It's one of the great things about life. It's one of the great things about relationships, one of the great things about sex. It's a limitless game.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, you know your boy is always fired up, ready to bring you a little fuego in your nights, weekends, days, or whenever you are listening to the show today. But after this show, I think you're going to want to think about your relationships, the things that you can bring into your life on a higher level, those that are seeking those higher level relationships. We'll also talk about our physical relationship with our partners. Many different things you can think about relationships, whether you're single, whether you're a couple, whether you're married, whether you're divorced, etc. We all are living through relationships, and I'm bringing you a expert in the game today, Mr. Erwan Davon. Erwan, are you ready to be real?
I'm ready, man. I'm excited.
Absolutely, man. So talk to me about your journey, because I always like to take us back into the beginning of the journey. Were you always fascinated with relationships?
I was always fascinated with relationships. I think we're all kind of born that way. Relationships are so important. And if we go all the way back to the beginning, the relationship between my parents, their romantic relationship, it fell apart. It wasn't so good. They came over from France, and, my mother ended up going back to France. And, so the whole thing was a disaster from the beginning. So from an early age, I had to get it together. I was in therapy at 15 years old. So I started studying relating to people really early. And after getting a psychology degree and coming out to California and doing every workshop in the world and living in a Zen monastery and a yoga ashram and studying sex and, just everything.
Wow.
I started to support people in their relationships.
And you found for yourself, because my wife is a psychologist, you can work with a lot of different populations, right? But that for you was one of the most fulfilling, is working actually with the couples or working with people that are looking for relationships, to teach people about the skills of maybe even mastering, if you want to call it, or just understanding relationships better.
Yeah, understanding them. We're talking a little psychology here. People usually don't know their psychology. They usually don't know what we call their relationship blueprint, and it's inherited from our parents or transmitted from our parents, or we get it relating with our parents, and then it plays out for single people in whether they get into a relationship or don't, who they look for. And if you're in a relationship, it really plays out. Most people don't know that template. So that's where we start our work with people. We get them really clear on what are they carrying from the past into their present love life, whether they're single or in a relationship.
Got you. Yeah, I mean, let's just be real. We all got a little baggage, maybe, and it's good and healthy to be able to process that too, right? It's good and healthy for people to be able to process that, as well as a lot of times, like you said, we can't always figure those things out on our own, and so it's giving us, a little light to that. Tell me this: is there into the beginning steps of the journey of understanding either your past baggage or relationships? Where do you start with someone?
Well, we start with we usually get a life history, whether it's a group program or individual coaching. We get a life history, we find out what's going on. It's really interesting, because the minute a person does a life history, Travis, they get a lot clearer. Like just doing that, just taking half an hour to write out their history, they usually have a lot of insight into what's going on in their relationship life. So we start them with that. And then what that provides, sort of the second part of our work, is contact with our deeper self, right? Contact with ourself in an essential sense, or a spiritual sense, or a new age sense, or whatever version of spirituality a person's into. But right. The deeper self, who we are behind our personalities, behind our inherited relationship blueprint, our psychology, all the rest of that, who we really are. Now once you got contact with that, once you kind of know yourself in that deeper way, how we like to say it is that makes you a candidate for being in a great relationship. If you're single, to find one, or if you're in one already, to really show up in that relationship. So we get the psychology out of the way, the real person gets to show up. Then we get into the fun stuff, masculine, feminine dynamics and sex and the stages of relationship and how to move a relationship forward. But we kind of got to do that heavy lifting before we can get into the fun stuff.
Got you. And that's the stuff people avoid usually, right?
Exactly. That's the stuff people avoid. Everybody kind of wants to go straight to the fun stuff. They want to get into a relationship, but, and of course we do. And we, we should do all that stuff, but people avoid the, dealing with their past and their history, or, sometimes people even avoid finding their deeper self. We recommend our students meditate, for example. It doesn't have to be 2 hours of meditating at 3 o'clock in the morning. It could be 20 minutes of meditating at 6 p.m. in the evening, but something to find ourselves, to really deal with ourselves. Then we can get into the, as Justin Timberlake says, get into the sexy.
Yeah, there we go. Which everyone wants to get into, but it's hard. You got to do the heavy lifting first, like my man said. What do you suggest for parents, man? Because I know that's one of my biggest challenges right now. A dad, 2, under 3, 6-month-old, and a 2-year-old, and an entrepreneur, got multiple businesses. One has had a little tough go with the pandemic and people's sentiment towards social media, etc. Can't control all those factors. One, a sports car business has had a boom market because the sports car business is booming. And then a few other little things, got the B-Roll show and a couple other fun projects along the journey here. But just be real for dads, for moms out there. Where do you start in the process on that? Because I know that can be a struggle for folks out there as parents. Yeah. It ain't easy for parents out there.
It's really not easy. Although my parents didn't do the greatest job with their relationship, it's worth saying it isn't easy. It's really difficult. And, it's different for single parents and for parents that are in a relationship. Right. For parents that are in a relationship, where we start with them is telling them the most important thing is modeling a good relationship between the parents, that the child really sees that. And it's another reason to address the romantic relationship. If the children or child sees an unhealthy relationship, they're going to mimic that. Right. So, and it's hopefully gives some inspiration to actually address the relationship, because a lot of relationships leave something to be desired. The divorce rate is almost 60%, and then the 40% that stay together, there's often a lot of difficulties. So,
of course,
that's the first thing we say. And then for single parents, we really support them to get into the kind of relationship that they want to, and how to contextualize that process for their child or children, which is, it's tough being a single parent. And, the child needs to have a context. Okay. Why do I have one parent? What's going on? Why is it like this for me? And for, Betty or Charlie, it's different. They have 2 parents. And, of course, it's got to be age appropriate, what context you set and how you explain it. So it's a great question. It's worth like 10, podcast episodes, but hopefully that's a little bit to get started.
Absolutely. I like that. Focus on modeling what you think, you're in your own game, in the game of life, folks. It's a big, important thing to constantly look at yourself in the mirror and say, how can I get better? We have different days. I know when I have an off day, I want to try to be a little better the next day, and try to set that tone for myself, like a Kobe would. Not only what can you do more, but then not just as a dad, especially, that's what you got to do. A lot of times you got to step up, you got to be there, and very, 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 very important for those that are out there. So modeling great relationships, and then that keeps the romance and keeps the things kindled, bringing home flowers intermittently, doing these special things, for people that you love, or just tell them they're special. I like to try to get into writing a little note or something with the meal for the wifey, for the queen, and just doing a little something special, just let her know I'm thinking about her. And those are very, very easy things for everyone to do, but just something you can do. Pull out a pen, baby. Pull out a pen and paper, and let's write a note.
Well, exactly, because they get dropped out. They're easy things to do. We do them when we're dating, but then, once your boyfriend or girlfriend, they usually get dropped out. So you got to not only you got to increase them and get better at them. You have somebody to do it with, at that point. So, that's a really good point. Don't drop that out. Have it get better and better. My wife and I have been together for almost 20 years.
Incredible.
Our love life, our sex life, our flirtation is better now. And than it ever was. And it started really hot because I was a romance teacher in the beginning and she was just super hot and all the rest of that. But, by building that over the years and decades, instead of the romance falling off a cliff, it's better now. It's more turned on now. I won't get graphic on you, Travis, but it's hot now and everybody.
My man's in the game, baby. Let's go.
Exactly.
I like that. It's important too to remember. Keep it spicy. Put the hot sauce on the burrito, baby.
Right.
So take me into that, man. Take us into that. What are the things you like doing to romance the wifey?
All right. Well, let's go. Since we're sort of going through our method here, the beginning is get the relationship blueprint out of the way. Part 2 is find yourself. Part 3 is masculine, feminine dynamics. Now,
right.
Any relationship, a man and a woman, 2 guys, 2 women, whatever, all the politically correct stuff, all the conservative stuff, whatever, however it goes, there needs to be a difference between the partner. There's a feminine person, a masculine person, and that's really good, and you want to really emphasize that difference in the relationship because that's what creates the spark. That's what creates the polarity. It's like if you have a battery, you got a positive pole, you got a negative pole. It's the difference between the positive pole and the negative pole. I used to study science that makes the current flow. It's the same thing in a relationship. So, maybe it's bringing flowers. Maybe it's telling him how handsome he is. Maybe it's, going out ice skating more, going out, to think of like a roller coaster or something, fun stuff, dating stuff where there's that difference in that polarity that really fuels it, flirting, right? All the kind of like little light touches and suggestive comments and, that whole bit. So that's the next piece. Then we get into the stages of relationship, and the stages of relationship are basically get into one. You got to learn how to pick somebody up. You got to learn seduction. Then once you got them, dating, that new and exciting phase, that's all about blasting off and having fun and, having a good time and going out and all that chemistry we just talked about. Then you got best friends and lovers or boyfriend, girlfriend. That's all about vulnerability and going deep. And, you probably move in with each other. I'll give your listeners a tip. A tip is when you get to that boyfriend, girlfriend stage, don't drop out all the fun stuff, right? Don't drop out all the, seduction and the dating and all that juicy stuff. And then the last stage of relationship is commitment, or maybe you get married, whatever it is, but it's your one and only. And that's really all about presence. That's really all about commitment. That's really all about cherishing the other person. And interestingly enough, it's also about having really good sexual skills. You got to have really good sexual skills. Otherwise, after you get married or after you have 2 kids, the sex is going to fall off of a cliff. Extended orgasm is one of the key things that my wife and I train people in. We got all kinds of classes now and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, guys are got pills they're buying pills. They got all sorts of different things to this. This is a big deal.
I'm telling you, it's like, you want to learn what you're doing. So, the pornography or the medication or the whatever, or the boredom doesn't take over.
Yes. And that's another big one. That's another really big, the pornography for the younger generations, is creating impotency in young men and things like that. A different strokes for different folks, but I'll tell you what, when I found out that a lot of that stuff's full of malware and full of all this stuff, that was when I made a decision to say, I don't really need this. And the mind is such a more an exploratory place that you don't even need that. If you can withhold, I think you're better.
It's really true. We don't have any moral issue with pornography, but for example, if a man or a young man is ejaculating, if I can be so graphic with you and your listeners, Travis, a lot to pornography, he's not going to have anything left
for
the real women in his life. He's not going to have any juice. Excuse me. And it trains it trains the mind to kind of look for, immediate gratification, and, the willingness to go out and like get on a roller coaster and turn a woman on, or for a woman to, send her energy to a guy when, instead she could actually just click a few buttons. And, it really has a negative effect. And we're not looking at it from a moral viewpoint. We're looking at it from a more practical viewpoint. Now, I'm not saying watching a little pornography is bad. People, the truth is, like, most people watch a little pornography, but there are ways to do it and there's ways not to do it. You don't want to let that, get in the way of your real love life.
Real life. Yeah. I totally agree, dude. It's a good point, especially for these young men, dude, out there. We need more guys out there, creating families with white women, doing the things. Everyone different, like you said, different relationships, different types of situations. But in general, spreading the seed, creating families, that's how we all exist, is constant longevity. And love that. I love that, those points about that, just not judge it, but just realize that, it's taking you away from the game, baby.
Exactly. Like, everything we teach is very practical. We have real lives, and, now it's not, computers are great and virtual reality is great, and, all the rest of it. It's, it's awesome, but we want to use that for our real life and our real relationships, not get like sucked into some invisible cyber realm and just kind of disappear.
So true. So true, man. Especially now, man, because we're all kind of breaking through Delta. Everything's getting back open. Everything's opening up. We're in different places. California's a little different, but bottom line, people are getting back, relationships, dating, etc., where maybe they haven't had a shot to do that for a couple years now.
Exactly.
Or putting themselves out into vulnerable situations where they didn't feel as safe, for themselves and their families. So
right.
We need to get out there, baby. Get off the virtual and get into real world. Not that you can't still do virtual. Incredible with all these different dating apps and things like that, how people can meet. I met my wife through Facebook. So,
great.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes through a great mutual connection, you can build, kind of see what they're going for, what their journey is. And you obviously got mutual friends, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes the social networks or the things your connections are your best opportunities right there in front of you.
And that's that's a really good point, because you want to use that, like you used Facebook for you and your real life. You want to use all this stuff for your real life, for your real love life, actually meet the person, get with the person. I know a lot of your listeners are entrepreneurs. That's another thing. Work is good. It provides livelihood. It can be enjoyable, but sometimes work takes over and we lose our relationships or our family life. A lot of people spend, I have some students work at Microsoft and Apple and so on. It's not uncommon for them to spend 80 hours in a work week. I mean, it's crazy. And, there's got to be a real life balance where, work is for me, work is for you, work is for my life, work is for a person's love life. We're not for work, work is for us. So,
yes.
We help people establish that, that balance, get back to what's important and what's enjoyable. And, relationships and, a person's love life is usually right at the top
Absolutely.
of a person's, what's really important to them in their heart.
So true, dude. So true. We can get distracted, but don't forget it. What my man just said right there. Rewind it 30 seconds. Relationships are what we're gonna leave this earth thinking about. So
exactly.
Now we're about to take you into our top 10. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Apple or Android?
Oh, I would have to go with Apple.
Apple, Netflix or YouTube?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I watch a lot of YouTube. At lunch I watch YouTube. So
it's the best. Man. So much learning on YouTube. So much great interviews and so much great content.
I'll go with YouTube.
The YouTube algorithm just hunt you the next great video to keep you watching for a little longer. Instagram or Facebook?
Oh, definitely Instagram.
Instagram, chicken or steak?
Definitely steak.
Steak, laptop or smartphone?
Oh man, I just got the new iPhone. So
nice. How do you like it? I like it.
I like it. I like it. It's awesome. And I'm noticing, like, it's not like that much different than the last phone, but it's cool. I'm going to
get It's always like the better screens though and stuff. I think everything's moving more towards like just better screen quality.
Yeah. Yeah. And the camera is better.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And then eventually we'll never even have to charge these things. One day we'll just basically, they'll give us the phone and we'll never charge it. It'll just be, that's it. You one charge Apple. That would be the day. No charging. That's eventually in the future. That's what they think they're going to happen. Spotify or Pandora?
Oh, definitely Spotify.
Spotify, movies or video games?
Oh, definitely movies. I avoid video games. Video games like, ooh, man, I don't know. I avoid them.
Another time suck out there. Not that anyone can't, play video games responsibly, but it's hard to. Anyone that's out there knows that. Reading books or listening to books?
Reading books.
Reading books. And when you're thinking about diversifying the portfolio, stocks or real estate?
Oh, we do a balance actually. And nowadays I think it's very important for people, we're not investment advisors, but I really encourage people have a balance, not only between stocks and real estate, but get some crypto in there, about 5%.
Go, baby. There you go.
Really balance because things are going crazy.
Crypto, sports cards are another one that people are hopping into. Collectibles, graded video games, graded comic books are taking off. Investors are buying up all the 9.8 WADA games. They're buying up the 9.8 CSG graded video comic books, meaning the highest grade comic books. They're buying up all the highest grade stuff. And then it just disappears off eBay. You'll never see it again. It goes in someone's vault and you'll never see it again. Stocks or real estate. So he said a balance. I like that balance. And then when you're thinking about vacation, which one were you going to choose? Oceans or lakes?
Oceans.
When you're waking up in your day, getting ready for the day, why do you love being you?
Because I wake up next to my wife and we start the day in a very exciting way every day.
Let's go. Do you think you'll ever retire from the game of romance, relationships, coaching, and basically entrepreneurship too, man? You're an entrepreneur.
I doubt it because it's, my work life and what I do for enjoyment, they overlap so much. I imagine I'll always be doing some of this. It's, it's talking to people. It's making a difference. I love it.
That's what it's all about. And you're helping people, man. That's what it's all about too. It's you get to an added benefit of your job is you get to bring someone value, but also in a real life way, and so that's incredible, dude. Is there a skill you're trying to master or get better at?
Well, self-development is interesting because it never ends. It's not like, you get to some goal and you're done. It's one of the great things about life. It's one of the great things about relationships. One of the great things about sex. It's a limitless game. It's like a game that has no end chapter. So, I'm always trying to get better at making a difference with people. I mentioned even extended orgasm. We're always getting better at that. After 2 decades, our love life is better. I meditate every morning. Meditation just gets cleaner and purer as as time goes by. My body does get older, but, my experience of it is better. I enjoy it now than I did even when I was 25. So, I try to keep every part of my life moving in a positive direction.
Dude, that's what it's all about too, man. Mindset will do wonders for you guys out there. And you have an incredible mindset, my man. Do you have a favorite app or tool that helps you run the business or just keep people on dial with coaching and busy world you got?
I mean, nowadays, we're all on Zoom. So, I've come to love Zoom. We put our events up on Eventbrite. Eventbrite is just fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Eventbrite. And then do you do Zooms yourself, like with the multiple people as well?
Yeah, we do our Wednesday class. It's called Master of Relationship. We got anywhere from 50 people in it, or if we open it up, sometimes there's 150 people in it.
Wow.
So yeah, we're on there every Wednesday, serving people, working with people.
That's awesome, dude. Technology is beautiful if used right. And then also we can use that to experience real life, so it's a combination. But like we talked about many times, just don't stay only in virtual, embrace a little bit of both. But I always love it because I would never have my show would never have talked to so many people, touched so many people. I learned so much had I not had Zoom and Skype before that, just to be able to interview people, and so beautiful thing. Even though I'm right here in Fresno, man, so I'm not too far away from you. You're up in San Francisco, the beautiful San Francisco. one of my favorite places to stay in the world is in the Berkeley Marina at the DoubleTree right there, because it's such a beautiful area, and you can take a lovely little walk right there, and you have such a beautiful bay, man. It's so inspiring to see the Golden Gate Bridge and see the action happening. And I always love the Giants, but it's just a beautiful city, man. Many fond memories of. You ever been to Taddish's Grill?
I don't know. I've never been there.
Taddish's, baby. That's one of my dad's favorite spots. We go there every year, or anytime we go to San Francisco. Taddish's Grill. I think it's right there on the main street there. I've been there for like 90 something years. Be real for me, my man. A couple last questions for you, because I know you got to roll. Who would you want to sit down for with a steak dinner tonight with anyone in the world?
Oh man, with anybody in the world. That's such a big question.
The pond just got big.
Oh man. Anybody in the world. God. He's not alive anymore, but sitting down with Elvis Presley would be pretty awesome.
Dude.
Can you imagine that?
Incredible. It's too bad, dude, because Elvis might still be alive, right? I mean, would he still be alive? Would he be, how old would he be? How old would he be? Like 100?
He'd be old, man. He'd be really old, but he'd be a very interesting guy to sit down with, because he's really soft and really humble and just, bigger than big. And, he'd be a very interesting guy to talk to.
Talk about romance, dude. I'm sure that guy had everything in the world thrown at him, man.
Right. That's right.
He'll still dig up his grave right now to go at him right now. Let's go. Is there a book that has changed your life, or a book that you either reread sticks to your soul?
There's a book, that's really been priceless for me. It's called The Point of Existence. And it's all about presence. And it is just a really, really heavy duty psychology book that gets you right to your soul and doesn't skip any of the nitty gritty. It's a kind of far out book. It's like 500 pages. I'm not necessarily recommending anybody pick it up, but other than that, I love reading stuff about the Enneagram. I got an Enneagram book right on my desk here, personality types. We're about to do a class actually on the Enneagram of love. What personality type is a person in their love life? How are they an achiever? Are they a romantic? Are they a helper? Are they a pleaser? How does that go? So I love anything on the Enneagram.
It's always one to focus on, because it's like the love language, right? We see things differently, and make sure that you cater to that love language of your spouse, partner, or if you're dating, you can kind of figure it out. You start to figure out what kind of love language they are. Take us into this, my man, because I know you got an offer for us. Tell us about where we can find more about the Pleasure Course and the offer with the free Love Life consultation.
It's awesome, Travis. So for folks who are interested, for those of you who are interested in learning more about working with Alicia and or myself, what we recommend is what Travis said. It's a free Love Life consultation with Alicia. She's my co-teacher. She's awesome to talk to, and she'll get personal with you, and you can share about anything that's going on for you, the great stuff, the difficult stuff in your romantic life and your sexual life, challenges, goals, places you want things to get even better. And then from there, she'll make a recommendation for one of our programs if we can support you. If not, she'll recommend something else for you. Could be a group program, could be individual coaching. We got all kinds of stuff. And you can set this up by texting our school. I'm going to give you that text
nice.
Now.
That's cool.
It's 415-308-9580. That's 415-308-9580. Just say, hey, I'd love a Love Life consultation. Heard about you on Travis's show. And if you set that Love Life consultation up, we're going to give you a video. It's really an awesome video. It's the 5 keys to a successful relationship. Travis and I just touched in on it. We'll go way more in depth into that video. It's really priceless. And you can also go to our website if you want to look at that. It's www.pleasurecourse.com. That's www.pleasurecourse.com. But what I recommend is setting up that Love Life Insight session, Love Life consultation. And one of the things Alicia will probably talk to you about is our most popular program, which is Mastery of Relationship, our group coaching community weekly class. The other thing that's really popular is individual coaching. And most people do some combination of the two. So whether you're single and you want to learn how to get into a relationship and find that awesome other person, or maybe you're in a relationship and you want to supercharge the intimacy or the chemistry, we got you covered. Just text us at 415-308-9580.
Dude, that is
awesome. We'll put that in the show notes. Yeah,
absolutely. We're putting that in the show notes. And thank you so much, dude. That is a great offer for those that are listening. And you might be getting calls throughout the next coming years, because that's how the podcast works. People constantly binging on these things, and the shows last forever. So, my man, I appreciate the value, dude, that you're bringing to the earth, to the planet, to the 12,000 couples and singles that you've coached already, and to the many more, obviously, you're going to coach in the future, because the world is full of abundance, my man. And also, where's the favorite place for you guys to hang out on social, too, so we can drive them there as well?
Instagram is great. Just go into our Instagram, Erwan Davon Teachings, ERWAN DAVON Teachings, TEACHINGS. There's some good images up there, some really good little videos, that kind of stuff. You can find us on Facebook. We're all over the net.
Let's go. I love that, man. Well, I appreciate your soul. You appreciate your energy. I know, my man, Erwan, that you're going to continue to help more and more people and bring more satisfaction to you and your love life. But, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Folks, you've been hanging out with a legend in the game of romance and life. At the end of the day, let's just be real. That's such an important thing in our lives. And if we don't have that, nothing else really matters, especially at the end of our lives. So I'm bringing you Mr. Erwan Davon and Travis Too Tall and Huff. We want to thank you again for your time today, and let's keep being real. What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today. We're all going through a lot right now. And Real-Time Outsource, my business, is giving back to local and small businesses. Through our social media services and campaigns, we are actually helping small businesses get more exposure during these times, and also when we get through these times. At the end of the day, we don't know how long this is all going to last, but most importantly, you got to think about your business right now and take it seriously. So come check us out at realtimeoutsource.com, and we would love for you to qualify and get the process started where we can take a look at your business and see if we can qualify you for some of our services. At little to no cost for most of the businesses, and some businesses, you're going to have to pay, but that's just part of life, right? But most importantly is that I think this is the time, folks, that you can actually help thrive in your business. And so I would love to help you personally with our team. We're all going through a tough time right now. So take advantage of us. realtimeoutsource.com. Check us out. And we would love to do some business with you and help you with your social and digital media in 2020 and beyond.